you are a subscriber to my channel, you may recall a while ago I did a review of this thing. It's a big bright spectrum analyzer designed to be plugged into your hi-fi equipment, give it a bit of visual flair. Recently, unfortunately, I've had to retire it though because I just didn't have any space for it anymore. I'd moved things around and there was just nowhere for it to go. And that made me remember, at the time I bought that, I also bought this little tiny spectrum analyzer. Now this came from a chap in Romania via eBay, cost about £70, so it's not cheap, but looking at it you can see it's really well put together. If this is done by one chap, then he definitely knows what he's doing. It probably takes him quite a while to do each one. There's a link in the video description if you want to know more about this particular thing though. I'll just show you what I'm going to do with it, because it doesn't come with a case, as you can see. Now one thing I want to mention, you can cycle through a load of different visualizations, different colours, dots at the top dropping down, drop shadows, reflections, and then you've got these kind of waveform things, all look like Winamp visualizations perhaps. So it works well, nice and sharp, clear, entertaining. Just need somewhere to put this thing now, because you can't just leave a circuit board lying around. You really need to do something a little bit more interesting with it. So I was trying to think of what to put it inside of. It needs to be something that holds it up in the air, nice little display, and then I thought, I know, a Sinclair television from the mid-80s. This is the Sinclair FTV one. It was a little flat screen television, cost about £80 at the time. Now I suppose you could class these maybe as collector's pieces if they're fully working and you can get hold of one. Remember, you can't view any analogue signals on them in the UK anymore though, those have been switched off, so it's really just a museum piece. But this one isn't even that, because it's very heavily beaten up. The tuning buttons are broken inside, the screen's all scratched up on the front. Somebody's put a wire into this one, I think for an aerial socket, make it external. It does have the kickstand you see on the left there, that's the most important thing for me, and of course the plastic case. So I'm going to sacrifice the internals of this and put my little VU meter or spectrum analyzer inside here. But while we're in it, let's just have a quick look around. So you got this flat screen cathode ray tube, as you can see here. Faulty tuner, it says there. This has really had a hard life, this thing, and you're not going to be able to fix those buttons now. They're all broken off, and why would you anyway? It doesn't do an awful lot. So I'm putting this circuit board inside here. Obviously not going to fit. You can see the aperture for the screen there is in the wrong place. I'm going to take that front off, but it's all scratched up anyway, so there's not much worry about doing that. Now, taking out this little lens here, that was designed to make the original screen just a little bit bigger, but it also had a bit of a blurring effect as well, or made it look more like it had scan lines on it. I remember these when they were out, and they're quite entertaining, but the batteries were horrendously expensive. Notice the fake speaker grill on there, which goes in front of nothing. Take a bit of this plastic tape off here. So all I need now is to cut a hole that's the right size for the little screen that I've got in the front of this. Now, I'm no hobbyist. I'm terrible with a Dremel or whatever this tool is that I'm using, so don't start criticising. This is the best I can do. While we're here, let's just have a quick look, a bit more detail. Look how packed in that is, and there's the you can see the cathode ray tube on its side, quite noticeable. Date on there, 86, presumably that's when it was put together. It looks very much though like 70s technology in a way. Look how closely packed all those little circuits are on there, little components. There's only one chip on here behind that white sticker. But I'm going to take this red bit off and these wheels, because I'm going to need those to fill in the holes in the case. So I've got the wheels out here. I'm just going to cut one of these in half, because as a wheel it'd take up too much space, but I can glue the halves into there and glue the red plastic behind that little window, the tuning window. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm making a little bit of a sort of screen to cover up for my botch job with the Dremel type tool, cutting out just to frame the screen a little bit better so it looks nice and neat. That was a piece of sort of plastic stuff I got from a hobby shop. Next thing, some Sugru. This is that rubber stuff that it starts off a bit like plasticine, and then you can mould it into shape, and after I think 24 hours or so it sets pretty much solid. I'm using that to hold the circuit board in place. I've also drilled some holes through on that left hand side to enable me to access the buttons on this particular circuit board. And just to finish off, I thought I should just paint in the worn off writing on the front, and while I had that paint pot open I couldn't resist painting in the Sinclair logo as well. So let's have a look at the finished product. Amongst people of a certain age in the UK, and I'm in this category, there's a great fondness for the Sinclair brand, and there's a lot of nostalgia around it, so hopefully I haven't upset any of those people by making the Sinclair Spectrum Analyzer. I didn't set out to make a pun, but it looks like that's what I've created. Now, if you want more information about the Spectrum Analyzer used in this project, there's a link in the video description. But for the moment, as always, thanks for watching.